It was his first appearance in the final pairing on Sunday, and Ted Potter Jr. held off the world's best players to claim his second career victory on the PGA Tour, triumphing at 17 under par at Pebble Beach. Good for a three-shot victory, and now he's projected to move into the world's top 80 for the very first time. Well, with this win, the 33-year-old is now exempt through the 2019-2020 PGA Tour season. He has earned invitations to the 2018 Masters Tournament and the 100th playing of the PGA Championship this August at Belle Plus, he can also tee it up with the strongest field in golf at the Players this May, and then take a rewarding trip to Maui for the Century Tournament of Champions to kick off 2019. All of that, plus 500 FedEx Cup points, that puts him at 15th in the standings. It has been a magical ride since Ted Potter Jr.'s last PGA Tour victory that came 2,044 days ago at the 2012 Greenbrier Classic. Well, the following year, he won the par 3 contest, the only occasion he's teed it up at the Masters, and then he missed the entire 2015 PGA Tour season after fracturing his right ankle in Canada. He actually took a wrong step outside of his hotel in flip-flops the day after missing the cut in the RBC Canadian Open. He played on the Web.com Tour last season and regained his PGA Tour card by finishing 14th on the season-long money list, and now he is a winner again. Well, with that, we welcome you into Golf Central. Kyra Banks, delighted to be joined by a 5-time winner on the PGA Tour, Jim Gallagher Jr., and the 2008 Masters champion Trevor Immelman. Against all the odds, the underdog came through. You've got to give the props to Ted Potter Jr. He had everything thrown at him. He had the world #1 alongside him, and he came out on top at the end of the day.
Don't you just love the story? Don't you just love golf? That's why we play. It's such a great story. Perseverance, he hadn't won in 5 years, career changing, all those great things, and unflappable. That's what I'd say today. That's the best way to describe the performance today today with him, Ted.
Exactly right. I was so impressed by how solid he was, and really looked in total control of his game from start to finish, and looked unfazed by the situations that he was facing, including playing against the world #1. Really well done.
Yeah, composed. It was a David versus Goliath kind of battle at the beginning of the day, wasn't it? Let's take a little look at how the final pairing stacked up against each other. They started the day ranked 245 places apart in the official World Golf Ranking. Well, let's get you out to some highlights from their final round, and Ted Potter Jr. was not fazed one moment. This perhaps the only bad part of the day. It was a 6-foot putt to save par at the first.
Yeah, probably the only poor shot he hit all day. Had it 14 feet, knocked it by the hole, and got off to a shaky start.
So a 3-putt bogey, you think, one shot back of Dustin now, but here's DJ at the par 3 fifth.
I got to say, this caught me a little off guard. You see he catches it a little thin there. Often when that happens, it squeezes out to the right, and that's down in the water.
Yeah, he'd have to take a drop. He'd go on to save bogey, which was actually a pretty good save from where he ended up. You can see walking down towards the beach to collect his ball, would take an unplayable and would drop one shot back of Potter at 14 under. Now, this for par to take the lead.
Yeah, knocked it over the green, didn't hit a very good chip shot, but what an aggressive, confident stroke.
So he would now have a one-shot advantage at 15 under. Will move ahead to the 6th and Potter's 3rd.
We saw this all day, making great decisions from a course strategy standpoint. You see, leaving himself there on the right side with all that green to use, playing that pitch to perfection coming out of the rough.
That birdie would take him to 16 under. Now, here, just trying to get up and down, you'd think, after going long at 7.
Yeah, very delicate chip shot going back into the wind just a little bit, but hits the flag. There's things you got to have happen if you're going to win.
The chip-in meant he birdied 4 of his 6 holes after that opening bogey at the first. He's now at 17 under, and another opportunity here at 10.
Really fast putt coming down the hill here. Just trying to nestle it up there close. Well done.
Yeah, two-putt par gives him now a 2-shot cushion at 17 under. We'll move ahead to 11 and a long birdie attempt.
Yeah, Dustin Johnson over the green, and I heard Nick Faldo say in the telecast, the guy that makes 4 here will probably win the tournament, and a smart play gets it down there where he leaves himself an uphill putt and a very makeable putt for par.
And indeed it was. He would convert that, keep the 2-shot lead at 17 under. Meanwhile, what's going on with the world #1? Well, he had this 6-footer to save par at the same hole.
After a tricky little chip shot down the hill, and that just goes left right off the bat.
The bogey puts him 4 shots back of the lead that he was tied for at the start of the day. We'll move ahead to the par 3 12, and this one a par save for Ted.
Yeah, that's for 8 feet, 4 to 8 feet. Today was 8 of 10, and that's phenomenal. at Pebble Beach.
So the two-shot lead at 17 under maintains. You can see not a bogey on his scorecard since that opening hole. Now DJ his second at 13.
After booming a huge drive down there into the wind, just a wedge into the green. Flirting with danger there, but the spin brings this ever closer to the hole.
Risk reward. He would convert the 4-foot birdie. Now 3 back at 14 under. Ted Potter, his 4th at the par 5 14.
Yeah, a lot can go wrong on this hole, and another good pitch shot. Our 14th hole, excuse me.
3-shot lead at 17 under. Really, at this stage, just a matter of holding on, saving those pars, and trying to maintain the lead that you currently have. DJ trying anything he can, his 3rd at 15.
Having to go upstairs with that, but just look at the break on this. A lot of guys were having troubles here with this green today.
Well, this really is what it came down to. You had to hold this to keep the dream alive. That miss meant it was a bogey, and he drops back to 13 under once again. 4 behind his playing partner, Ted Potter Jr., who by this stage you think has got the job done, enjoying the walk up to the 18th hole at Pebble Beach Golf Links. Left with that for a victory as you overlook the Pacific Coast. What a moment for the Florida native. Ted Potter Jr. is your 2018 AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am champion after producing his career low round on the PGA Tour with a 62 at Monterey Peninsula Country Club yesterday. It, in the end, was a 4-way tie for second with some of the heavyweights: Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Jason Day, and Ches Reavie. But let's go out now to our reporter. Steve Bukowski is on site with the winner. Burko?
At the start of the day, tied at the top of the leaderboard alongside world number 1. Ted, how would you describe how this afternoon played out for you here at Pebble Beach?
Fantastic. I mean, what a day. Just thrilled to be here talking to you guys, and just played some amazing golf coming down the stretch.
Back 9, you were the guy everyone was chasing. You've got the world's best at your heels. What were the emotions like as you tried to just get it in and get back in the winner's circle?
I was just trying to take one shot at a time, pick a small target in the fairway, just pick a small target middle of the green. I knew I had a couple shot lead going in the back 9, so I knew that they were going to have to make some birdies. And the back 9's tough, especially with the wind how it is right now. So I just want to give myself plenty of opportunities coming in, just try not to attack the pins, but I mean, give myself 20 footers to have a chance to make birdie though.
6 years ago, you won on the PGA Tour. 4 years ago, a freak accident injured your ankle, kept you out of the game for more than a year. What did you prove to yourself today, not only to be back here, but once again be a winner?
That I can still do it, even though my ankle's not 100%, and but it's getting better each year. I mean, it's got a lot stronger since 2015 and 16, so I mean, it's heading in the right direction. The golf swing, the last couple of weeks, been working hard on it, and it shows that it's what I'm doing is working. So
we can see the emotions. Did you ever wonder, would this day ever happen again for you?
Of course. I mean, you never know. I mean, there's so many great players on this tour, and I mean, you got to have everything go right for you. You got to chip in, make a 20-footer or 30-footer from off the green or something happen to win out here. I mean, you got to have a little luck, but there's a lot of skill involved too.
Well, it went your way this week, and especially here today. Congratulations on being a winner yet again on the PGA Tour.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Burko. And he did have one of those special moments. He chipped in for 2 for birdie at the par 3 7th. We saw that. It's always moving to see the emotion, raw emotion, come out of champions, and particularly an underdog. There's no denying he was at the start of the day, but to stand up face to face against the world's best player and beat him by 3 strokes, what does that do for your confidence going into the rest of the season?
Not that you doubt yourself, but sometimes you do. But you think of the road he's taken, the mini tours, you know, I think he missed every cut on the web.com at one time, and then won, and then hurt, and back and forth. And it's those emotions you go through. You wonder, you win once on the PGA Tour, and a lot of guys do that, but can you do it again? Can you follow it up? Can you win that second time? So you prove to yourself more than anything. And I think, you know, I thought back, he chips it in at 7. Tom Kite chips it in to win the U.S. Open. You know, you kind of wonder those things. Those magical things happen at Pebble Beach, and it was a magical day for him. But to win there, Trevor, what a great memory forever for him.
So special. And it just never ceases to amaze me how fine the line is at this level of golf between missing cuts and playing well and winning tournaments. I mean, here's a guy who's missed 5 of his last 8 cuts on the PGA Tour, and he comes in here to an iconic venue like Pebble Beach, playing with the world number 1, and stares him down in the final group on Sunday, shoots a flawless round of 69, and wins the tournament. I mean, it is just fascinating and just such a great testament to a fighting spirit and a never say die attitude for an athlete. Is great stuff to watch.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And the fine line you speak about actually is no more evident than in last year's PGA Tour Player of the Year. Justin Thomas walked away from a career high in 2017 and said he still needs to make improvements, and those are to miss less cuts.
Sure.
Because he was either performing really well or missing cuts, and he said, I need to turn my bad play into still weekend play. Well, as you said, he won for the first time in 2012, having missed 5 consecutive cuts. Now in 2018, having missed 5 of his previous 8, Ted Potter Jr. is a winner again. Well, Dustin Johnson was 5 for 11 in converting 54-hole leads entering today. Let's look back at his last 3, which dates back to last year's WGC HSBC champions. It was early this season, though, in the October of 2017. He entered this final round, guides, leading by 6. That his second at the par 5 14th found water. Now will join him on 18, needing an eagle to force a playoff with Justin Rose.
Yeah, pretty aggressive play, but he has to make eagle to catch Rose, and this is one of those that just has no chance to get to stay up. And just a disastrous day for him.
Well, that one also found the water. Someone who's usually so aggressively successful on par 5s. The final round 77 meant he finished tied for second. This year's Century Tournament of Champions was a different kettle of fish. This tee shot was one to remember. He entered the final round with a 2-shot lead, and it only grew.
If you like power and accuracy,
this is your guy?
This may be the best
shot
you've ever seen. A 433-yard par 4.
Oh, my.
And it's just a tap-in eagle putt.
Unbelievable. Brandel Chambly called it one of the best shots of all time. And today, after we saw him win there in Hawaii, you think, well, this is a pretty convincing start. 8-shot romp to victory. This is going to be the year of DJ. Little did we expect him to give up a lead, albeit a co-lead. It was still Dustin Johnson, the favourite.
Yeah, he's lined right up that right side of the green, and just as Trevor mentioned in the highlight, caught it just a little thin. He just never looked comfortable with his irons. Missed half the greens today, just never was really in sync. It may have been the pace of play, but not number 1 like for sure.
Yeah, so Dustin Johnson would finish at 14 under par in a tie for second after a final round 72. He went 70-72 over the weekend at Pebble Beach. No one would have predicted that. Really, the Century Tournament of Champions, the only bright spot out of his 3 54-hole leads currently this season. So he has converted only 1 of 3 so far. We'll see what happens next time he's in this position, because you've got to wonder about, even though Dustin Johnson is perhaps the most relaxed golfer there is out there, the most unflappable, you've got to have memories that you carry with you, and you want to be carrying a good one into the next time you're in this position. He'll need to eradicate some of those recent memories.
Yeah, I think you just have to erase today and get out and go on. He's been able to do that. I think a little bit of his ball striking was off today, obviously. I think that was a big part of it. In the top 19, only 2 guys didn't shoot under par that finished in the top 19, and he was one of them. So, you know, it's just one of those days you just erase it and you go forward, and he will. He has in the past, Trevor. I don't see it being a problem for him as he goes forward.
Yeah, I don't either. The man is supremely talented and number 1 in the world for a reason. So I'm not worried about him bouncing back. But I think earlier on in that highlight, you touched on something that was important for him today. Playing in a 3-ball, stuck behind the whole field. You know, took these guys longer than 6 hours to play out there. And I'm not one to make excuses for anybody, but I think once he lost his momentum on the par 3 when he hit it in the hazard there, and it started taking so long to play, I just think that he really just couldn't find a way to get back in rhythm. And he just looked maybe as agitated as I've ever seen him, a little dejected out there on the back nine, just couldn't quite get things going.
You've got to, sorry Jim, you've got to deal with any obstacle that's thrown at you though. I understand that, but Ted Potter Jr. was in the same situation. He had a 17-minute wait before he hit his tee shot on the 17th hole. He crushed it onto the green and converted.
That's what made his win so impressive. He was the one that was able to handle the slow play and having to wait for 2 or 3 groups on 17. He stayed patient. That was the amazing part for Ted to get that done. So kind of a reverse role that maybe we would have thought, but it does affect people nonetheless.
But historically, DJ is one of the fastest players on tour. It takes 10 seconds or less to hit a stroke. So, you know, faster players are more likely to get agitated by a situation like that.
And that 3-ball was because Wayne Gretzky had to withdraw due to a back injury at the start of today. Otherwise, he would have been the 4th part of that final grouping today. Well, how much do you know about Ted Potter Jr.? He's just won on the PGA Tour for the first time in 6 years, and after making 2 significant changes, we'll explain why they produced the winning formula. And the leaderboard was littered with familiar faces to start the day, but what happened to the likes of Jason Day and Phil Mickelson? We'll bring you some more final round highlights. Before we take a look back at where it all began for Tiger Woods on the eve of the week that he made his PGA Tour debut 26 years ago. We're just getting things going here on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by Bushnell Golf and the Pro X2 with enhanced slope switch technology. GolfAdvisor.com. Ratings and reviews by golfers for golfers.